So then hi everyone, I'm Ashley Adamson and this is Tea Time. It's unedited and unscripted and I'm with my sister today, Helyne, who's a neuroscience PhD. And yeah, we're sisters. We're hanging out today doing tea time. Yeah, we wanted to talk about making decisions because that just came up in conversation. So we're going to talk about that today. And yeah, I guess we'll start there. So we were talking about making decisions and sort of like committing to them. Oh, people going by. Hi. Yeah, so I guess maybe we can start with just like making decisions how did we end up here? Like, how did you end up here and how did you make that decision?
So this was actually a decision that kind of fell in my lap, which we were just talking about, where it's like you see an opportunity and it's kind of too good to pass up. So you make this like life-changing decision. You just can't pass it up. I was following a boy. Initially, I was following someone basically to London because that's basically where he lived, and I was like, look, I wanna get out of the US because I see that Trump is going on. I'm gonna try and educate myself for much cheaper, get a master's degree in England, and follow this boy. And yeah, so that's how I ended up getting my master's degree. And then from there, I saw that there was a PhD posting here in Germany. And I was like, I'm never gonna get this, but what if I just try?
Yeah, what if? Yeah.
What if? I just like slide that in. It was actually the only application that I sent for a PhD position. And I didn't even get that position. Went to someone else, but the woman who was working there, she's like, well, you actually seem to know what you're doing. Here's this other project that maybe you'd be good for. Why don't you come in and work for us for that project? So then I was like, this is too good to say no.
Yeah. So how did you make the decision to kind of commit to that?
That was really tough, actually. I think a lot of it was not knowing how difficult it would be. Yeah, and just deciding, I think, that I was willing to take the risk, and that I had confidence in myself to figure out if things went wrong, that there would be like I could figure out what to do afterwards, or like it wasn't like this wasn't the like biggest decision of my life, even though it was currently the biggest decision of my life.
Yeah, I mean, you're still living it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that confidence in yourself and knowing that you can make the decision, you can make decisions after you make the decision, like you'll be okay afterwards.
I think it's a good point.
That's so key, because if you didn't have that confidence in being like, well, I can figure it out later, then it would just be an impossible decision to commit to.
True.
I think this is something that scares a lot of people when they're thinking about transitioning too, is like, it seems like a decision that's just going to be a finality, like I make this decision and then it's over. Or it begins. And yeah, I think people don't really underestimate their ability to adapt and work with things. I know at least for my transition, making that decision was the biggest decision of my life. But I knew that I could do it. And if I didn't want to, I could kind of step back from it and make other decisions. And then coming to move here to Berlin, that was a pretty quick decision. So a little backstory, and I put this in another video of why I moved to Berlin, but I moved here because of this girl here, who pretty much was just like, I fucking love you, you're my sister, and we need to live together, or not live together, we need to live in the same city.
It just felt so right.
Yeah, live in like the same location or whatever. So yeah, I made that decision in a month, and I think time pressure kind of forces you to make decisions, like Brexit's happening, I'm a UK citizen, and I only had so much time to do that. But I think us talking and saying, like, should we commit to this? Are we going forward? You just got to trust your intuition sometimes. Does this feel right, or am I forcing the situation? Yeah.
I completely agree. And I think what you said before of, like, having the confidence in yourself and knowing that no matter what, you can continue and adapt and evolve afterwards, that this, like, for some reason, this isn't just going to be, like, the decision that will...
It's not the end.
Yeah, it's not the end, exactly.
Yeah, and you were talking about making decisions in your life now and kind of like the process. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
So this is something that I've just been thinking about recently, which is being so immersed in the PhD life. I think anybody who's doing a PhD will tell you the same. You like get funneled into this tunnel vision, and it's kind of all that you know. And now that I'm looking towards coming back out of that tunnel, I realize that I've actually become worse at making decisions. And what I would like to do now is to practice, for instance, meditating. I think this is like the first step into like getting back into having the confidence to make decisions is what?
Meditation is always the answer. It's like, oh yeah, just meditate and you'll just like, you'll fix everything. You'll clear your mind, you'll reduce your anxiety, you'll be empty, you'll have so much more insight, you'll be spiritual, you'll be more fulfilled. It's just like the one trick pony that like seems to solve.
It's like that and like exercising, you know? It's like, and like there's so much science behind it too, where it's like, there's literally nothing wrong here at all. There's no, it's all benefits.
There's never like 5 things you need to know that are bad about meditation. Yeah, exactly. It's like, everything's like science, like studies have shown you meditate, you change your brain and you become better at doing everything. But it's like, no one wants to do anything. No one wants to do nothing. Mm-hmm. It's like, just show up and do nothing. Or they say, I'm terrible at meditation, but like that's the whole thing,
right? And that's the whole part. So this is, for me, this is like the stage 1 of like, okay, how I'm gonna get better at making decisions is like quieting the thoughts.
Yeah.
Like you can't make a decision if you're just constantly thinking and reacting, of course.
Yeah, get out the reactionary state.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I need to practice doing that some more. So like inhibiting all of the crazy thoughts that sometimes like will randomly like come in through my head and basically interrupt
your process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Distract you from wherever you were going. I'm about to make a decision. Oh, what? That's a blue thing. That's really interesting.
Exactly.
What was I doing? Oh, I need to make some coffee. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like making the coffee, but then I'm like, oh, maybe I should, I don't know, make some salad while I'm for later. I don't know. Just like random thoughts.
Yeah. So what's the next step?
So after that, I think this is where I will want to be like, it's like a two-prong thing where you're going to have the confidence again. You have to like have the confidence to make the decision, but also be able to like, now that you've got all your thoughts sort of quieted down, lay out all the variables and see what you can make a decision on.
Yeah.
And then have the confidence to make the decision on those things.
That sounds overwhelming.
Yeah, I haven't figured this part out because there's too many thoughts.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would, so I have a different opinion.
Okay.
So the way that I would make the decision is you kind of like look at the options, or maybe this is actually just repeating it in a different way, but you just look at the options. You don't really need to fully assess each option, but you just have to make an approximation of like the value return of your effort. And I wouldn't even say you need to be very clear-headed to make decisions. You just need to identify the important ones that you need to make decisions on, and then you just make those decisions. For example, I get distracted all the time with Instagram and YouTube comments. I love replying to all of y'all, so let us know how things are going in the comments below. And so I'd also actually like to hear what your guys' thoughts are on like decision making and how you think a good way is for making decisions, like a framework for that. But my framework for it is identify the most important decisions you need to make, and then explore what it would be like to make that decision. So in design, it's called prototyping. So you just make a small version of that. So for example, moving to Berlin, the answer was, why don't I just fly into Berlin and stay there for a few weeks and simulate living here? And after a week of living here, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to live here. This is the spot for sure. So then it was much easier to make a big life-changing decision because I had spent time moving through it.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the other part that I'm still figuring out, which is you have to have this like good balance of being goal-oriented and flexible, right? And so this like imagining, playing out one of these ideas of like one of the options where you can go, that to me is like having confidence in having like a goal and sort of exploring that goal, figuring out if that is the goal that you want to have.
Yeah, having confidence that that's the right goal for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. I think like that for me changed a lot once I transitioned because I knew myself so well that I knew exactly what I wanted and what was me. This like touch with the inner knowing, which we cover on another interview with Sonia, which you can see, I think it's episode 7. But yeah, like once you like know yourself more to like feel that pull of what's calling to you, it feels a little easier to be certain about things.
And this brings me back, I think, to meditation, because after being in this PhD where I'm constantly working and constantly reacting and like trying to get to deadlines and all of this, and digging so deep into the research, I feel like I need to come back to myself and find myself again. So this, I think, is why I'm attracted to the idea of doing meditation, to help me with decision making specifically.
That's so huge because you'll really start to understand what's you and what's just your thoughts. And on that, we have to close. So thanks for joining us for tea time today. And we'd love to hear from you about what your framework for decision making is and what your thoughts or experience was in watching this. Yeah, I guess we love you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.